All right, so I'm on one of my favorite test tracks, basically where my Honda with my 2.5 EPS Torque Mod still fails consistently. But just gonna, it's a gloomy day here, slightly rainy. It's also going to be fun for introducing some unexpected behavior, probably in openpilot. So let's just take it on the road. All right, so calibration just finished. I'm gonna be turning off things like dynamic launch control. Just gonna be driving in chill mode and just manually. So currently I have MADs on, but I'm just gassing manually. But I'll go ahead and set it to just the speed limit. Yeah, so here we go. So far, so good. There's some weird braking there for some reason, even though it's in chill mode. So my car uses visual only. Wait, hold up. Okay, that was unique. It definitely, it's like it tried to stop for the stop sign even though dynamic launch control was off. But let's see. All right, so here you can actually see an example of it trying to give me a new speed limit. It gives you a beep and then points either an up or down arrow depending on what you need. So far it's doing pretty good. All right, I'll go ahead and toggle on the speeds. This curve is rated for 20. That might be a little bit too low. Yeah, it's been Farmville's been doing really great for keeping within the lines. All right, here this is a turn where the car kind of maxes out with torque, but usually gives you a warning really late, so you have to be proactive. And speed up. Yeah, it's doing a great job with centering on this tight road. Even with I'll put here, it went cutting in a little bit too much in the corner, so I corrected it. Model path here looks a little bit off, so yeah, it is driving on a center line. However, not really a problem. Yeah, so this is this is a very curvy road for my car. Like I say, it always has issues here, so but I like to start here just to kind of get a baseline of how good the lateral performance is. Yeah, so here it's definitely going to drive into that ditch right there. Overall good. Yeah, even though, so one of the confusing things that it's showing 30 for the speed limit and I'm already at 30. The big thing here is that actually I have a pretty major offset, so it's trying to get me to that offset. And yeah, one of the interesting things is that this might be a bug or something where it looks like DEC. Oh shit! Looks like DEC is kind of actually active or something. Let me make sure it's disabled explicitly in this menu here. Yeah, so okay, now for sure, even yeah, my understanding was that in chill mode it shouldn't be running, and it wasn't actually showing blended mode here. So I say this might be a bug or something, but anyway, now it's explicitly off, so at least hopefully that should stop for now. Or the car stops braking out of nowhere. All right, back to lateral. All right, so here we got a little bit of a curve, kind of an S-bend, and yeah, it failed, but did overall doing pretty good. I mean, as long as you got your hand on the wheel here, it's not too bad. Although the torque warnings are coming in a little bit late. See here, I'm already way over the line, and actually here it didn't give me a warning at all, but of course I touched the wheel slightly. Yeah, so that's a little bit of a funky thing right now. It seems to be slow with the turn warning, so that's always a good thing to actually watch out for. Just make sure you're not snoozing off and depending purely on your openpilot device to scream at you. So right now I'm just driving with manual gas and brake. Yeah, so far that was pretty satisfactory. I would say it was not a huge difference, with some of the prior models, or at least for those. But however, the big difference with that area is that the turning is really, really rapid, and like the rate of change that my Honda can adapt to is not always the greatest. So now I'm going to go into like a little bit of a neighborhood where I've seen some pretty impressive maximum angles that I haven't really been able to do before. Looks like the rain picked up a little bit, but it doesn't seem like it's impacting my openpilot device too much. Just got a little bit of a black flash for the wipers. Yep, gotta crack open my Dr. Pepper Zero, my official driving drink. Yeah, green light chime is working as expected. That's one of my favorite features. Just because, I'm not really depending too much on experimental mode for stopping for me, so as long as it chimes, it keeps you in the zone. Yeah, one of the nice things is when you got the OSM offline maps is that it gives you the street name like instantly up here and at the top. Pretty handy. Of course, I'm mostly running the map, but yeah, it's cool. All right, still on manual gas and brake. So this is kind of where I've seen some pretty impressive steering angles from my Honda. So let's see if I can reproduce that. I think last time I was running around 20 miles an hour, so I'm gonna stick with the manual gas and brake and just kind of see. All right, so throughout this drive, I've been mostly seeing like steering angles of around like maybe like 28, 30, but let's see if I can crank it up. 20, that's degrees. All right, so I'm gonna try to intervene as little as possible. We got a hard bend coming up. Hopefully no cars come, because I'm like on the other side of the road. Okay, that screwed that up. Yeah. I was at a 61 degree bend right there. However, there's too much manual intervention for me to count that. So let's give it another whirl. So we got some trash cans coming up. Let's see, openpilot. Oh, I just brake down. Oh yeah, intervened. Yeah, sometimes it seems like it reacts a lot quicker. Sometimes it doesn't. Like I say, I'm driving in the rain right now on a gloomy day, and openpilot seems to be affected by lighting conditions a little bit too much. And this seems to be one of the light conditions they might not like as much. Yeah, so okay, this unmarked road, it's loving to drive very far left. So so here it sees a stop sign. It kind of corrected to the right, so that's at least good. All right, here we actually have a center lane marker. Nothing on the right, but yeah, I got a steer warning at around 30-something degrees. Overall, doing good with these bends for Honda. Actually, I went on the wrong road. Meant to hit that road behind me. All right, let's turn around here. Yeah, one of the fun parts about California rain is that it's extremely inconsistent, and you gotta play games with your wipers all the time. It's like turn them on to high, turn them on to low, turn them off, and it's just fun. Alright, so here we have a very drastic bend. Let's see what openpilot does. I'll drive pretty slow. It's handling driving between these cars well, which usually does that normally. Okay, it's detecting the turn. Alright, so I'm gonna max it out. 60, 67, 70, 80. Okay, of course I'm pretty much at a stop, but but during driving speeds it gets up to 60 degrees for me now. Of course I was kind of peaking it out. I mean, it was able to make I was able to go over 80 degrees on its own. Just wasn't in a I would say in a realistic scenario, because it was basically just driving into nothing. So far, yeah, not. I guess it's showing raw capabilities. Haven't really done anything impressive in terms of turning. I'll retest really quick with this turn out here coming up on the left side. See if I can get a successful turn with oh shit, what the fuck was that? Yeah, not everyone knows how to drive. Yeah. Okay, we keep moving. Alright. Yeah, so it's getting into good steering angles, but not making these turns successfully. Like I was at 50 something there, 57. I think some of these turns are just a little bit too much. Like these turns are like maybe, at a like 60 degree angle, like maybe like a 90 degree or a little bit higher is more ideal for this car. Again, have to be a freaking DJ. All right, so this is a real turn here, and actually we hit 57, so that was solid. All right, I'm gonna redo that actually from the beginning. I was not quite taught that. I'm actually gonna put it into give openpilot long control at 20 miles an hour. All right, like I say, not really the most impressive display right now, but this is more about technical capability right now versus just a raw driving. All right, so I'm gonna make this turn, make sure there's no cars coming, so I can drive silly. All right, going at 20, long control activated. Just gonna let it do its thing. All right, let me turn up the wipers even more. Again, the rain just got heavier. Yeah, I'm driving basically on the opposite side of the road, so I got to be extremely careful. Okay, all right, so we got basically try to ram into the left side of that car I was parked on the left side. Yeah, so I would say good, not great. Like I say, in good weather conditions, I've had it be successful even when I was not trying to reproduce this. But let's just get the hell out of here and continue doing some other driving tests. Yeah, this model does favor driving a little bit too far left in these unmarked roads. Like it kind of is not really calculating the total road width as well as I would hope. versus my beloved Nicki Minaj model was very consistent with staying on the right in these type of conditions. Alright, so still doing manual long control here. Here you go, hit the center. Oh, there's a cone in the middle of the road. Alright, pretty good. Alright, we're gonna go back to long control. Gonna hopefully do some SLC demos and whatnot. Speed limit control. Dynamic experimental, or whatever it's called these days. I think it used to be called DLC. Now it's called DC. Let me just check. Yeah, dynamic experimental. That's what it's called now. Yeah, it's completely off. It hasn't triggered accidentally like before. Actually, just a side note actually is that if you look at the RAM indicator here, it's currently using only 67% of RAM. So sunnypilot and the dev team there has done a lot of optimizations in this release. So a lot of refactoring and just I think even like rewriting stuff entirely. I mean, I haven't exactly checked the code, but yeah, it's running a lot more efficiently lately, and supposedly some of these refactors are responsible for some of this improvement as well. In terms of the actual driving performance. But yeah, sometimes before in the prior releases, like with all these new features that have been added, like with the dynamic experimental control and whatnot, I'd be, starting to get closer to 80%, versus this one's hovering very comfortably at 70 or below. Like say it's with RAM, the goal is not to just get to the lowest number possible. It's of course you want to, if you have the RAM, you want to utilize it. However, this is kind of, it's one of those things where if you were to utilize it to 100%, your system would just straight up crash without a memory error. But like I say, it's about the sweet spot. Alright, so I'm driving at with 55 speed limit in a fairly noticeable rain, as in where I can actually see the rain on my camera other than my wipers. Doing quite good. Centering well, of course I have a lead. This guy right here is way to the left. It seems like it actually maybe made space for him by going to the right, so that was pretty good. Falling distance is pretty solid. We're maintaining at 30-ish meters. It is kind of oscillating between 32, 36, but overall not bad. I mean, of course the cars in front of me are also modulating their speed. Yeah, overall, and that was a pretty noticeable bend at around 45 to 50 miles an hour. We're going to be doing a right turn here. Alright, so I have because my steering on my Honda is weak, I can't make right turns. I do the thing where under 20, I turn off lateral control. So basically this line goes gray every time under 20 miles an hour if my blinker's on. And the main reason I do that is because it lets my car naturally center, as opposed to me having, the torque on my wheel is not enough to center quickly. Alright, this guy's got a lead that's braking, and it's did pretty well there. Alright, so now we're going from 2 lanes to 1. It's merging in nicely. Rain is quite heavy now. Speed limit 45, it seems to be doing 43, 44. Yeah, traditionally it has kind of the detection with this like center island, for some reason, some of this like, you know, whatever's going on here has kind of confused the edge detection. It seems to be doing pretty consistently with Farmville. Like it's before I would kind of jump into the center, but here it seems like it's detecting the curb really reliably. Also, this road has a very significant, you know, has a bike lane and then parking next to it, and sometimes they would actually try to think that bike lane was just a regular road lane. So far, none of that has been an issue. Here it kind of went over the middle a little bit, but that was just a right turn. All right, so far so good. Another lane that merged in and it corrected. It's detecting a false lane right now, but okay, now it detected the real lane. Can't really blame it too much because of the rain is kind of creating some patterns on the road. Yeah, now it's all the edges are being detected properly. Go ahead and do a little bit of a neighborhood test that I like to do. Yeah, so this is, again, looks like so now I have to modulate my wipers again. I'll do this test here at 25. Oh, not enough torque. I got a car in front of me, and it's falsely detecting a lead as opposed to parked car. Okay. This is going extremely, basically driving on the left side of the road again. Not the most favorable. I'll correct a little bit. Usually, if you give it a nudge, it'll figure it out. All right, park lane car. It's kind of, like I say, a little close for comfort for me, but it did detect it and it did have the path to adjust to go around it. Yeah, so far it's doing pretty good on these turns. There's no lanes on this road, but leaves. Looks like a bunch of holes today. Okay, now we actually have a real lead. Yeah, they're pretty good there. Like I say, the nice weather performance is definitely noticeably better. I mean, of course, there's also leaves and stuff here, so you know I can kind of respect that the vision model is probably a little confused in this situation. So it's kind of a fun actual test, because it doesn't actually. I don't really get a lot of chances to test in rain and stuff. It's usually just a lot of sun here. Turning off the wipers entirely now. I mean, this car, when you stop, it does change the wiper speed to be really slow, but I don't know. There's something where I just don't like wipers rubbing on dry glass. Here it's trying to drive me into the center island, which I've noticed actually multiple times with this Farmville model. I do not know why it loves to target the center dividers here, and a lot of them here are like these little raised islands, which so hitting a curb would not be the best thing to do. Looks like kind of my SLC is not working too well right now. It might be because of I did download the map on the fly. I figured it would integrate without restarting, but maybe not. Yeah, maybe I'll just do a quick restart of my openpilot device, and I'll be back in a second. Like I say, I do this real world. I'm not really about cutting and editing significantly. Just kind of drive and let it go, good or bad. There's a lot of spots where you can we have parking space, but they're indicated as no stopping anytime. It's really frustrating. Customer parking. Yes, I am a customer. Park on these red leaves here. Got to be responsible. Pausing the video for now. All right, we're back in action. All right, so basically just gonna take it back on the road, and hopefully SLC will work better now. I mean, I guess before it was kind of working in the beginning, but then it just seems like it didn't work after that. Anyway, continuing the drive back to openpilot long. Yes, yeah, so still hasn't detected any. Still not showing the actual speed limit here, just showing my max speed that I set. Yeah, so but we'll see. I mean, SLC is not too important here, but it's. I mean, and I did kind of show a quick demo of it before, but it's good to see it in like more full situations. Actually, I do need to hit up a gas station. Fuel low. How embarrassing. That almost never happens to me. Mostly because I went on a big vacation and I haven't been on top of my car routine. Okay, SLC is working here, so it was giving me a prompt to that I can increase the speed. So I did. I pushed the up arrow on my steering wheel, and there you go. It used the speed limit plus my offset, which is I believe like it's like a percentage, and so it adds that number at the bottom here. And it gives me the max speed that my car follows. Overall, has been working pretty solid. Took me a little bit to get used to it. It wasn't, and also there's a limited time frame where you can actually adjust the speed. So if you're not paying attention, you might miss that indicator. Although I'll say that the behavior when you override the speed is a little bit more confusing now. So basically, like if, for example, you want to go lower or higher than the calculated speed. Before, I guess there was supposedly what was considered a bug where you could just tap the gas pedal and it would reset to the calculated speed from the SLC. And now I think you just have to cancel it and re-enable your long control. So it's a little bit, yeah, you kind of lost a little bit of a cool hack there. Yeah, but I mean, not the end of the world. So for the most part, just haven't been able. Like the thing is that SLC, when there's another speed limit change, it'll re-trigger again. So even if you have a manual override, you can go back to automatic at that point. Yeah, doing quite good on this road. Some slight bends. Maintaining a really good following distance at this point. Extremely smooth braking it right now. Chill mode. Gonna go into a left turn here. Yeah, do it. Okay, yeah, this was really quite smooth. Yeah, one of the nice improvements overall at Long has been just braking has, especially in chill mode, has been really smooth. And that was a huge plus because basically one of my main grievances with openpilot is just it loves to brake too much and way too hard in many situations. Okay, so now we have a pretty hard bend, 23 degrees. Just doing it nice. Manually doing gas. Go ahead and put it back into. In this case, again, SLC is inactive, even though I just turned on. Like I went from no long control, too long control. So it could be simply that it doesn't know what the road speed is here, which I'm not sure if that's in the offline map or not. I do have come up, that connect the prime or whatever it's called, but I have no speed limit detected at this time. Although it usually does. It could be just because I re-downloaded the map because I was trying to get the latest updates. And I know it does. This does, as when you drive normally, it does do caching and stuff. So from the online stuff. So when you're driving around, it'll have that stuff in memory from when you last drove. So we'll see. Definitely looks like I'll have to do a fair weather video again. Overall, doing really, 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 really good here. I mean, in terms of lane centering and just everything, even pacing, following distance. I'm in a manic gap, so it's kind of keeping like an 18 to 20 meter distance, which represents really realistically what people do here. It's a fairly aggressive driving area. We'll go ahead and make it right here, manually braking. Sometimes with experimental, it'll actually brake properly in that turn. Okay, here we have a speed limit again. Again, pushing plus. So now we got an automatic calculated speed. Yeah, again, it's went up to the lead and it's pacing it really, really well. Like this guy's driving, fairly slow, but his car's, doing a good job with just kind of adjusting. And also, it's very inconsistent. It could be me or him, who knows? But the speed's inconsistent. So overall, it's following the promised verbiage of being chill. Yeah, and this is completely visual control. Oh, try to gas it way too much here. No, I guess I didn't know at that time I was trying to turn left. All right, so I'm gonna get some gas and stuff, and we'll be back. Alright, we're back in action. Hopefully I didn't mess up the camera too much. Alright, let's go. Alright, so basically what the goal is going to be here is just going to, now that I got some gas, going to take it out on the freeway and stuff. Just kind of test the long performance in higher speed situations, which is, visual only. Which tends to be the trickiest of situations, other than, stop signs and stop lights. Trickiest in the sense of that it's not that it can't do it, it's just trickiest in terms of actually doing it well, as inconsistently. Alright, so it's doing pretty well here. This guy's turning left, now it's trying to speed up. Alright, so I'm approaching a red light. It's going pretty fast. Let's see. Yeah. Let's put some manual braking here. Actually, we'll switch over. Yeah, you can see there, I don't know if you saw in that left turn, when I'm not using my blinker, it doesn't center really fast. I mean, like I said, this has nothing to do with the latest version, just kind of a Honda nuance. So usually I'm very diligent about using my blinker for even the most minor turns. But in this case, I was also kind of just wanted to just kind of feel if there were any noticeable torque differences when I'm making left and right turns. That's really basically not using my blinker on purpose. Alright. Same consistent good performance here with just these 45 to 55 roads. It is hit the center, went a little bit close to the center there, but didn't cross. taking the bends nicely. Modulating the speed pretty well. Coming to a stop here. Very smooth stop. Like this is a really good long performance in terms of stopping. Speeding up again. Still sometimes leaves a large gap. Like I said, this car actually got out over 30 meters before I was, started pacing it again properly. And then it kind of closes the gap, so that kind of even tells me the gap's a little bit excessive. Yeah, like for example, I think the Farmville, they kind of try to address some of these slow acceleration issues with some custom long tuning. I'll probably have to try the latest Farmville again, just kind of get a comparison from my last Farmville video. Alright, we're merging on to a faster road. Yeah, sometimes I think, like if your max speed is already set to what SLC calculates at, it'll still give you a beep, a prompt that it's trying to like change the speed, but it'll automatically just change it. Like it'll tell you that it's set the speed to the limit, even though it didn't actually change anything. But I mean, it's not irrational. It's just kind of something to pay attention to. It's like, I almost feel like, oh, like something went wrong or something, like the SLC barfed, but all it really did was follow the max speed you already had set, as opposed to changing it to a different value. Alright. It's slowing down again. Very smooth. Very smooth. A little bit close, but smooth. Go ahead and make a lane change. Didn't really, okay, that was a little bit peculiar. It didn't recognize that lane change. Let's try again. Okay, this one worked fine. I was using, basically on my car, like if you do like a slight press, it'll do a moment. Okay, I'll slow down here. This is excessive speed for conditions. Yeah, so you can see when I'm manually regulating the speed, SLC will display a temp off indicator here. In the prior versions, the temp off would actually be indicated here around the speed limit, so that UI has moved. Yeah, here it's basically trying to go to the same speed limit to the same speed limit, but I'm guessing somehow on the maps, probably there was like a disconnect between the two limits, even though they're the same. Okay. Overall, did well there. Still, probably the worst part for me is when it comes to a complete stop, to actual 0 miles an hour. It's still a little bit rough for my car. Like it's, I'm not really sure why. Maybe because it tries to brake like really linearly or something, and it just, it doesn't know how to like modulate the gas pedal properly. Whereas when you come to a complete stop, generally on my car, when I'm driving myself, like I will kind of feather off the brake as I'm coming to a complete stop. It's just a little bit of a, it's a softer, like basically it makes the stop seem seamless, versus with openpilot, there's a little bit of a jerk when I'm stopping. It's not horrible, but quality improvements. This launch was notably better than the last launch from Zero. Making a lane change with the guy that's braking. Handle it well. Again, need to play with these wipers. Need a openpilot wiper integration at this point, just to freaking control my wiper speed. Alright, so we'll be going on to the freeway here. I'm just going to manually regulate the speed and just kind of let's see what happens. Try to go a little bit slower than usual, even though I have a guy behind me. Okay, so it didn't really react too much in that turn, although it got up to like 40 degrees turning on its own. This requires around 60-ish. Yeah, it's a little bit weird actually. The desired steer versus the real steer, it seems like there's a disconnect here for this on-ramp. Go ahead and toggle openpilot long now. No cars emerging here. Although this goes from 2 to 1. All smooth. Just detecting the lead now at 130 meters. So it's pretty good for long lead detection. Okay, now my lane is merging into the other lane. Kind of getting close to the front car. Really close. 20. Yeah, it was 15. And it's braking, adjusting. Okay, this is not decent merge. I think in this case it was more situational. Like if the merge happened a little bit later, I probably would have been right on that guy's bumper. All right, setting that speed higher. Falling distance, like I say, it's already fairly significant. Although for rainy conditions, this is acceptable. Although I'll go ahead and just take it to a higher speed lane. Yeah, now I'm using just my momentary on blinker where like if I just tap it, it'll blink like 3 or 4 times. Okay. Alright, so we're in a faster lane now. It's not really too fast, but I'm going around 65 with a 40, almost 50 meter falling distance. A little bit excessive for me. Like I say, for rainy conditions, it's acceptable, but however, the car is not, I don't think, I'm mostly sure that openpilot is not taking into account the actual rain. So it's actually a good question to pose, but probably has an answer to Discord. However, generally speaking, in good conditions, this mirrors the same falling distance that I see. It is, like I say, it is still kind of having these modulation problems. Like, so I went from 50 to 40 meters falling distance. Again, now back, it went from 40, it dropped to 47, 48. It's speed is pretty consistent. Like I say, it's always difficult because, you know, these type of tests are always a little bit difficult, mostly because, you know, your lead might be driving a little bit inconsistently as well. So openpilot inconsistency plus lead inconsistency leads to a lot of unknowns. But, you know, I'm mostly going off of feel here. You know, like how does it feel versus when I'm driving myself? And generally speaking, I don't need to brake too much. Usually I'm good with just a little bit of coasting and just using the gas pedal for a majority of situations, which openpilot likes to use a brake a lot instead of coasting. But so far I haven't really felt much braking. It seems like it is actually doing a lot of coasting, but like I say, it's not definitive on this screen because all you see is a little red bar. It doesn't actually specifically tell you. Alright, so now we're cranking up the speed. No detected lead. That lead is really far out. Yeah. Looks like it's hitting my designated speed, which I guess my offset calculation is a little bit weird that it's doing plus 14. It's detecting a new limit or something? No. Okay, I'm approaching pretty hot on another lead, as in relative speed is showing me as -1, even though I'm going way faster than him. Okay, now it's kind of more accurate. It showed -9 for a flash, -5, -3. It's a little bit, yeah, relative speed was definitely off here. Speed limit SLC got a little bit confused. We're all good. Yeah, one interesting thing is that like the Comet 3 camera is not too bothered even when my windshield is really like full of rain. Like it significantly, like it seems like my visibility here is pretty consistent relative to what I see through my actual windshield. But maybe I'm just bothered more by the rain dots. Okay, overall, like it's been handling the actual lane centering and stuff exceptionally well. So lateral control has been really good on these roads. Like mostly slight bends and stuff that it's been dealing with, but centering has been quite good. It's been long control has been I would say long has improved. Its visual only is still not the greatest for higher speeds like this, but I would say it's acceptable for driving in like the city around like 55-ish. Usually if I'm driving like longer highway trips, long distance trips, I prefer to stick to my Honda stock ACC, which is radar based and is a lot more consistent on these roads. Although in the city it's a little bit worse, I would say, than openpilot, because especially it does really bad with people cutting in and out. Versus openpilot, it kind of it recognizes that there's more lanes and will do smarter calculations. Overall, this part is not bad though. So it's like I said, it's a low following distance is I would say like for this is considered maniac mode. Like this is by no means someone going 62 miles an hour at a 44-meter distance would be considered maniac, I think, in any part of the planet. But like I say, it's acceptable. It makes me wonder, how far would the car be in the other modes, and I don't even want to try it just because there's too much traffic for that. But pretty consistent overall, like at least on this stretch. I think this lead is also a really steady driver. I mean, it's probably using cruise control. So it hasn't been modulating so much. The red-green bar that you see in right here when it's accelerating or braking hasn't been triggering so much. So I do want to get off here. I got a guy stuck on my right corner. Gonna let him pass. Alright, so let's do a lane change when the lead is pretty close in front of us. Alright, actually, it didn't do any drastic braking there, so I commend openpilot for that. Like, it didn't get scared, like, oh no, this car is only 10-15 meters away from us, let's, do an emergency stop here. Yeah, so at 55, we're maintaining around 30-ish meters. Some, like, strong winds now and rain. Like I said, the actual screen here, of course, is a little screen. I'm not blowing it up onto a bigger screen. It doesn't seem to be phased much by this rain. I would take an off ramp here. Definitely don't need a blast down it. Overall good exit. Minimal intervention other than speed. A little ambitious there on the yellow. But yeah. Actually, I think I can get on this way. Yep. This will take me on the opposite side. Back to openpilot long, setting it at a high speed. Alright, so right lane is going to be disappearing. This guy's merging in. Car is braking drastically to let this guy in. Excessive braking in my opinion, especially because we have 50 meters falling distance. 56 now, okay. But, oh shit, tumbleweeds, okay. And off we go. I always pay attention to the road when using the openpilot. Not fully autonomous. Tumbleweeds, they're extremely scary. Those are really small ones, but there's 2 of them, so that's double trouble. Alright, so I have a falling distance of 70-ish. It's trying to it's a little bit funny, it's closing the gap and then braking, even though the distance is significant, 50, over 60 plus. Yeah, it's doing a lot. You see the red bar is triggering quite a lot. And I mean, the worst part is when it brakes and then hits the gas immediately after. That's that type of modulation is one of the most frustrating. Again, it's braking, gas. Okay, now it's gassing significantly. Close this gap and then watch it probably brake again really hard. Yep. Open. So I would say it's doing very poorly now. It basically modulated. It accelerated significantly when it saw the lead, and it went from there's been over 15 mile an hour difference. Yeah, so this is I hope you can understand why I use radar control, my stock radar control in these situations. I feel like people are passing me because of this crazy driving, but we do it for the video, and there's plenty of space on the road. Seems to be a little bit more consistent now that it's basically it's braking again for some reason. Well, actually here it looks like it's coasting, so that's not bad. Gotten considerably closer to the lead, 35. Yeah, let them out to 40-ish meters. It is funky. A little bit, definitely. I don't find this comfortable like this. Actually, let's just turn on experimental for fun, just to kind of see what's going on there. See if it'll make some better decisions. So far, so good. Experimental is it's modulating to go slower quite a lot, and it's now my falling distance is 70 meters at 62 miles, 80 meters, 80. Yeah, okay, I have nobody behind me that's close. Otherwise, I would turn this off immediately. This is ridiculously slow. Why this low speed maintain this much of a falling distance? Yeah, so experimental. It's a pretty strong fail, unless I guess you're driving on the road by yourself. Although, say in the city, most of this stuff is significantly better. Experimental now is getting a little bit more brave. It's 50 meters, okay. I say extremely inconsistent, but some of that could just be due to the bad weather conditions. And I'm trying to get up to the right. Let's see if experimental craps his pants being so close to in front of this guy. Not too bad. It did break, but nothing scary. Gonna leave it an experimental for now. I do have someone behind me, but as long as it doesn't do anything dangerous, it should be okay. My leads are being on the more conservative side, so it's giving me much better speeds for steering on this off ramp. It's handling quite well. It's pretty, steep off ramp. Sharp left. lower speeds. Torque warning, hit around 40 before I took over. Was bumping on the reflectors on the right. Okay, yeah, back to manual. I'll go ahead and turn on experimental again. It's not something I really want to use for turns, but just letting it run. Just letting it run. Gassing manually. Yeah, probably just gonna, again, I was gassing and then it starts hitting the brakes because I guess I got close to the front car, but it's acceptably close for me. Alright, I'm still an experimental. You know, experimental likes to brake a lot earlier for stop cars. In this case, the stop car was started moving already, so it's a lot easier to detect. But in general, experimental is way better with stop cars. Like I said, it brakes a little bit conservatively for me for stop cars. Turning off long control just because I'm trying to get over rapidly. Back to long control. I mean, open pilot. Experimental long. Yeah, so I mean, one thing I have experimental long, like I said, not really happy with it on the freeway. It has been doing pretty well on these regular streets now. Like, it used to slow down way too much for me, and it would get, like little things would set it off to want to brake. And it was kind of like a good description I saw of it is like a teenage driver with both feet, on the gas and brake, and it was just like very confused. And however, it's doing really quite well now. Like, it's basically doing just as good as chill mode at the moment, and even maintaining really close following distance. And we're gonna take this turn here. I'm gonna try to stay as like the last car. Like I said, this is a very conservative stop, but acceptable. And like, it had some of that jitteriness where it was kind of like braking a little harder, softer, harder, softer, harder. It was not like as smooth. So I'm going back on my classic testing road, which is winding way. So it's literally called that. I'm gonna make sure I do the best I can with not having someone behind me, just so I can let openpilot do a lot of braking if it wants to. Also gonna let the lead kind of feather out so he's not influencing me as much. Didn't detect that speed bump and experimental. Yeah, I'm braking manually here. It's not detecting a stop sign. I'm just letting this guy, nobody behind me, just letting him purposefully get some distance. All right. Looks like that might not be where. Maybe I'll just set it to a really slow speed. We got kind of a pileup of slow people in front of me. I'm just trying to not be as influenced by the lead speed, more just trying to okay, openpilot actually detected that speed bump. Now that was good. That was cool. Very cool. All right, so here we got this stop ahead sign, which always messes up openpilot, kind of confuses it for real stop sign. I mean, always has been exaggerating. It's not always, but straight up experimental mode, it detects the stop sign. It's braking very, very early. Like, you can see that in the video. It's like, I can still read the whole stop thing. I'm accelerating manually here just because two cars pull up. Can't let them take my turn. Did this one really well. Sometimes it wants to drive into the right side there, but it actually took a left here. I'm going like 5 under the limit here, so this is actually making it easier for openpilot to take these turns. So I'm at went a little bit too far to the right for me. Got to rev again. Hello. Alright, I'm gonna crank it up back to the speed limit now. Seems like the leads have gone. Experimental is insisting on driving slower, slowly speeding up. It's driving 6 under my specified top limit, 5. Okay, it's hit my limit. Stop sign coming up, seems like it's flickering, detecting it, and full on detecting it. Like I said, this is not DEC, this is straight up experimental mode. And I mean, yeah, it made almost a complete stop and then tries to run me off the road, but pretty good, pretty good. I haven't had any luck with making that left angle turn properly yet, although it did do my friend's Tesla with what's called FSD did do it correctly. I should try probably again with nav or something, see if it does better. Okay, this is actually doing quite good. 42 degree turn. I mean, it did hit this. It went over for sure, but pretty good. Long control is braking for this turn, and then yeah, flying off the road. This road is always very tricky. There's not a lot of shoulder to. It's pretty narrow, and like not a lot of shoulder to compensate for you if you do fly off the road. All right, so got a sharp bend coming up. I'm gonna put it down to the recommended speed. I mean, these things are very conservative and designed for, like, you know, so much larger cars can make this turn. But anyway, doing this heavy bend at 20. Okay, we're doing a turn at 60. Okay, I touched the wheel. I did not actually. I touched it only just to be for safety purposes. I did not actually turn it. So you saw a successful example at 20 miles an hour doing a 60-degree turn. So that, you know, I would want to repeat it where I don't touch the wheel, but like I say, I only touched it because there was a person on the left, and, you know, safety first. But yeah, pretty sweet. All right, stop sign, braking extremely early for it. Like there's like a whole car length in front of the stop sign. And yeah, okay. I mean, it's basically stopping, but again, braking for nothing here. Back to the speed limit. It's doing pretty good. I'll tell you. Like I said, this is a tricky road. I've only had FSD do this pretty well so far. But then again, openpilot, this is openpilot, not using nav, nothing, just straight up visual. I mean, everything here is, again, stops way early. I'm gonna just accelerate just because there's another car here. Otherwise, I'll let openpilot be stupid.